I think we was on the bus on the way back from going to the airport.
Bruce was saying that there's kind of just a different, with the alumni with the Raptors, they're obviously embraced. There's obviously perception that the Knicks don't do the same. Were you kind of surprised with what happened with Charles last night?
Well, again, all the interactions I've ever had with Oak has been positive. I remember sitting down with him before our game last year. He was here for a game last year and was talking about our team, some of the things he saw with our team. It was a positive experience. So all my feelings about Oak are positive. I think he's old school, tough guy, and that's what our, he helped get started, our league get started. So nothing but great love for Oak.
It took 8 guys. It took 8 guys.
I don't know about all that, but again, he's part of our league.
How different was the league in terms of confrontation and physicality when Oak played?
Well, the rules were different, Bruce. Yeah. The rules were different. Commissioner Stern changed the rules where you couldn't hand check, really couldn't impede. Before you could really chuck guys and body guys across the lane to keep from getting their spot, and now you can't. Supposedly. So, but again, he was a master at that. He kind of set the tone. I thought he was a big part of what the turnaround here in Toronto, of giving veteran experience for Vince and those guys here, and kind of set the tone and kind of made it feel like, okay, you're not going to go into Toronto and beat up Vince Carter. You're gonna, he's going to have a backup in Oakland.
Is there anyone in the league today that sort of stands out as being that type of player, an enforcer, or are they just not?
Well, no, it's harder today just because, as I was saying, Bruce, the rules changed. The rules have changed. It's harder to be that type of guy. I mean, you can play physical, but you got to be smarter. You got to anticipate quicker, and you got to be a bit more stealth with it than they were back then. With John Stockton, some of those guys were not very stealth in what they did.
The toughest guy in the league now, or some of the tougher guys in the league now, in that mold of physicality and?
I'm not sure. I have to think about it, which is not a good thing. But again, I think our league is the game now is for the better. It's more entertaining. Defense is taking a little bit of a backseat to offense just because of the analytical approach that the teams take. It's harder to guard now defensively when you can't touch and you can't, impede anyone, and the 3 seconds in the paint. So it's more difficult now because it's more of an offensive style of play.
Speaking of that, is it possible nowadays to consistently hold teams to 40-42% shooting, or is the offense that advanced that it's just?
It's pretty advanced, but I don't think it's impossible. I think that's what your goal is. Ryan, is to hold teams below 45%. It's more difficult now, but it's not impossible. And I think it's attention to detail, stop here, stop there, is the key, and try to force the team to take as many non-paint twos, as it can take, and cut down on the threes. But it's tougher to do today.
What stood out about last night after watching the film?
Well, again, it's a lot of different things. It's defensively, I think we led 46 minutes of the game. Closing out the game was an issue, but the bottom line for the entire game, we talked about it, is the physicality, and it's ironic we're talking about that. Just the 11 offensive rebounds for 20 points was huge, and just all around physical play on the defensive end of the floor, not letting guys cut to where they want to cut, forcing their post-ups out, our pick and roll defense, getting into the bodies there. So a lot of different things. That's what we worked on today. As a coaching staff, we're going to continue to work on it. It's on me and our staff to make sure we continue to harp on it until we get it, because when it comes playoff time, we want to be going that way once we get everybody back in line, back healthy, and our full complement of players.
What went into the decision to go with Lucas over JV for most of that fourth quarter?
Well, again, Lucas was doing a good job. I think we was holding serve, a 5-point lead most of that time he was in there. And, I thought he got in some foul trouble. Then we, was getting hurt on the board, so we tried to go back with JV. So, again, Lucas has done an excellent job, in the pick and roll defense. And that was one of the main decisions, because that's where Wiggins was kind of getting out of hand with us on the pick and roll.
It's kind of like you have to decide between one or the other. Like, 'cause Bebe doesn't really have the rebounding Jonas has, but he gets around quicker, right?
Yeah, that's both of them have their strengths and weaknesses. But Lucas has done a good job in our pick and roll defense, and Jonas has done a good job with his rebounding, and that's what those are their strengths. And we kind of have to decide as far as the matchup are concerned, and it sounds like an excuse, but when teams have a guy like Towns who's playing the 5 out on the floor, it's difficult, and we got to do a better job. I've got to do a better job of teaching guys how to play against 5 perimeter players.
Naturally, there's always a conversation between you and the side, but as we get to the All-Star break and then after get close to the deadline, do the conversations narrow when talking about immediate needs, or is it always kind of a long-term perspective?
You talk to Masai about that. I'm just worried more about the X and O's, and I like our team, I like our guys. I have no control over personnel matters. Masai and I have talked about what the needs or whatever before, but I'm not even thinking about trade deadline, and I encourage our guys not to worry about that and do the job where you're at. And that's my major concern is our players. I've got enough on my plate trying to help our guys, put them in position to be successful.
You mentioned last night this next 3 days can't be too intense, but we need to work on repetition. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm not sure what the question.
Just like in terms of repetition, what is it that?
Reps, as far as going through defensive schemes, getting repetition. Because what happens is as the games start coming, you don't have time in practice time to get repetition, to get your shell drill, we'll have a closeout drill. And all the things we've been having trouble on, those are habits. And the only way you can talk about it, you show it on film, but the only way you can do it is continue to do it in practice and develop to rekindle those habits. And that's kind of where we are now, and that's what we did today. I thought our guys did a good job today, upbeat, positive. And again, those are the things we need now, is to rekindle those habits. And you lose those as the season goes on. You don't have practice time.